First class encryption. WOTO security offices, secured correspondence. Korgak. I'm sure you're aware by now of the current situation in regards to Gregor Brunswick, former GU commander of the Retribution, one of the largest destroyer-class vessels ever brought against the Corps in the Unification War. I'm following up with you over direct line now because I don't know who I can still trust. The upper city is compromised. So too potentially are our plans to present a unified response to the hive mind threat. The situation is, if you'll pardon the term in a business email, fucking dire. We have reason to believe that this man has been operating on Corvanis 3 for over a year. Further, that he is in deep with the Shadowrunners and criminal underbelly of the city in general, particularly one fixer who runs the grindstone who goes by the name Rook. These fixers run on going unnoticed in impartiality, taking on someone as a right-hand man who has that much heat on him, all but admits he's complicit with GU loyalists. We need to get what true-blooded corpse we have left and put these Union boys over a fire. It's impossible that someone in that tower didn't know that this fella's been living on Corvanis for this long. Everything I've told you above, I have told to Talaris, Nirvana, and Sinidi in turn. Everything below I have shared only with WOTO personnel, and now with you. As I know you as well have started to comprehend the severity of the Xeno threat. If we don't sort out the situation in the upper city now, none of us are getting out alive. Here is a quick summary of the additional threats identified. We have footage of Quixote senior execs working with this Gregor Brunswick on the Golden Lance, taken from the memory banks of a synth that was also aboard the vessel. Ikaruga, their PR head, risks severing all ties with WOTO to keep this traitor, Phil, safe. It is beyond a doubt at this point that Quixote senior management is compromised by GU loyalists. Nirvana employees have spilled the beans on the Lazarus program as of yesterday, endangering the lives of every Corp official, Mars included. Ricky, as the most senior corpo on site, was approached with what to do with the body of the traitor after it was dispatched by Nirvana Lazarus Protocol Response Unit. Turns out the Narites seen your blood squeal on you if you spill the beans. Scary, right? Ricky allowed the traitor to reconstitute in Nirvana HQ for questioning. By the time we turned up, however, for some reason, 4 to 5 Union reps were already rushing to pay a visit. Strange coincidence. I'm sure you'll agree. It's also worth noting that this Alice character was playing for time when I suggested we question the Union, even going so far as to say, what difference can one day make when talking about Shadowrunners and a potential coup? Long story short, I suspect there is more than one traitor in Nirvana HQ right now. Need to find out more. Astral is shady as fuck. At the conclusion of the zombie guard fiasco at Sinidi HQ, Ian delivered Rose, the operative who shot the guard without permission, to our offices. This Rose made her case. Said she was involved in the necromancer incident a year ago. Said she was acting because she didn't know how dangerous these things were. I wanted to go easy on her if I could, but I knew how it would look if she was delivered to my custody and walked away scot-free. Let me level with you, Korgak. 2 days prior to that incident, Rose had delivered me headcam footage, edited, of a man in Union armour fighting the undead aboard the Retribution, accompanied by slummers I also know are connected with Rook. The ship was trashed, infested with this Xeno shit, much like we saw on the Golden Lance. I asked her how she got this footage, and she said that this armoured Union boy, who we now know is Gregor Brunswick himself, just gave it to her. As a way of proving Astral's loyalty to the Corps, I asked him to hunt down and kill these men, Locke and Rook, for no reason other than they posed a threat to Mr. Goldman, and thus the stability of our unification efforts. I did not know that this Locke was Gregor Brunswick. A day later, they PID the man as the commander himself. Funny, isn't it? That they have only just figured this out. Particularly after having their own men be so cosy with the man before. So cosy he'd hand over incriminating footage to them. Of course, it also crosses my mind that suddenly the man can't be found. Funny that. The tip-off could only have come from Astral. This brings me to my final point. Blaine, Sinidi's top decker and head of security, has given his boss a device that scans networks to create a map of all the compounds that the useful idiot visits. Did you know that? I had a meeting with the joint mayors of the wasteland the other day. Wanted to find out more about a few rumours that have found their way to my office. Specifically involving this Titan you have no doubt heard about. Turns out our man Blaine was on the ground for most of the crisis. Turns out our man Blaine were witness to quite a lot, including, as this wastelander tells me, a phenomenon known as cyber zombies, i.e., nanites that are smart enough to puppet a human body. Now suffice to say, WOTO gains nothing from infecting their own guards, particularly ones that were taken to a GU tower meeting. And it's pretty peculiar, I'm sure you'd agree, that the Xeno would just send one man. Aye, it's out now. We have a sample of zombie matter that we're using to try and trace back its origin. But what happened with the guard? Oh, it's got the noggin jogging. Between Blaine's access to cyber zombie nanites, mapping us all out, and now these warp gate access codes going suddenly missing under his nose. Makes a man very suspicious. Very suspicious indeed. I'm sorry to drag you into this, Korgak, but you strike me as an honest man, and I have long learned to respect the loyalty and honour of our kind. You seem to be in with Astral. Be careful. If whatever these traitors are planning comes to a head, we are all done for. Regards, Leonard Kiani, Public Compliance Auditor and Head of Security, WOTO.